All right. I think we are live. Hello, hello. Good morning, good evening from wherever you folks are joining in. Welcome back again to yet another very interesting stream with Zencoder. I'm Shantanu, your host again for today, and I have Pablo with me. So I know Pablo needs no introduction. He's super famous. People know him, people love him. But Pablo, quick intro from you, and then maybe we can jump into the topic of the discussion.
Amazing. Thanks for having me, Shantanu. I'm Pablo. I work with Shantanu on the go-to-market team at Zencoder. And today we thought we were going to do a bit more of a freestyle session, having a chat back and forth between Shantanu and I. Every time that I talk about, I talk many times with Shantanu, like over the course of the week, and I actually think all those would make amazing webinars. So we thought, why don't we actually make one of our chats a webinar? So this is an attempt at that.
100%. And I think topic of today, topic of discussion, and as Pablo just said, it's freestyle. We'll be just talking, picking up questions from the community and team. So, we'll be spinning our conversation across building real skills with LLMs. A year ago, it was prompts. It was about how well you write prompts, how well you instruct your agent. But today, these days, it's more about AI is equal to workflows plus skills plus agents and whatnot. It's a mix of all, right? So, one quick question to you, Pablo, on this. So, how do you see the change that has happened in here? The trajectory has changed. The whole ecosystem has evolved, and now these days, when you blink eye for once, you have a new product coming in. That's how quick the evolution of the space is happening. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this?
First thought on the topic is that I believe that we are giving names, like new names, new concepts to things that we already had experienced or done at some point. So, for example, when we were using LLMs to code, like 1 year ago, we quickly discovered that the LLM did a better job if we gave a bit longer description at the beginning of what we wanted to achieve. So that was sort of came naturally, didn't have a name. But later we gave it the name of spec-driven development, and we said, okay, like actually we gave it the name, we gave it the process, we gave it, but it originated as something organic that people were doing. People were finding that was useful. And I think everything that has come up has been a combination of, on one hand, the models getting better and us getting more knowledgeable about using them and just giving names to different techniques of how we use them. But there's no like magic happening. It's just that we're getting better and the models are getting better.
100%. And as I just mentioned, models are getting better. I have a small case study that I was building out lately. So I was very interested in the whole electronic vehicles or EV market that is booming across. So I used Pablo, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to check. Yeah. So I asked my Claude, if you can write a market research report about EVs in India. And believe me or not, when the agent didn't had adequate information, what the agent did was super amazing. It went through all of my sources. It went through the internet, browsed what's trending, even used my Twitter MCP to check what's trending on Twitter, and Reddit, of course, and gathered all the information from these sources, and then gave me like a very beautiful report. So, now agents, LLMs have become way smarter than they were before, right? So, what do you think? How as a multiplier for somebody's work? For personal works, right? For a moment, let's not talk about coding agents. Let's talk about personal agents, business use cases. So, what do you think? How can these agents, these toolkits, and skills, of course, can evolve the whole, business acumen for a user?
Business acumen, yeah. So I would say that so far my time spent with LLMs, it's still 80-20 on coding and business use cases. That being said, we are part of the go-to-market team, and we do a lot of content, a lot of videos that we put out there. And at some point, I found myself frustrated with the tools that we had to record videos, because basically I had to record a video on my screen and then I had to go to a different tool to choose the zooms, because we were taking a video on the horizontal screen and then moving to a vertical screen. I got frustrated with that. And I just used the LLM to build for me a script that would follow my mouse around into the vertical format and that simple thing saved like so much time for me, and I think that that's applicable to like almost anyone. No? Like if you see yourself doing a task over and over again and taking a particular time, a particular like chunk of your time, unless you really enjoy that task for some reason, and I can understand that too. Like some people
Yeah.
might enjoy, like people who used to woodworking, and then the industrial revolution came up, and then you could have machines building furniture, no? And my my grandparents brother, all my the brothers, they build furniture by hand, no? So for them, obviously, the concept of machines building furniture would be like, no, but I actually enjoy building the furniture. So the point that I'm trying to make is try to identify things in your day-to-day that you think are too repeated, and that you can automate. And for the most part, if you spend a little bit of time automating that with coding agents, with AI coding agents, it pays off. Like it pays off handsomely, because maybe you spend one morning automating one piece of your work, of a piece of work that you do every day.
True, 100%. I agree on that. And when you talk about automating your daily work, just I mean, I can tell my stack, but would love if you can also reveal your AI stack. So for me, as Pablo mentioned, we build content, we build videos. So I've been extensively using Zenflow these days for all of my automation. I know Zenflow is dedicated for coding and multi-agent orchestration, but I guess I somehow found a hack where I can leverage and use that. I create skills, I put it in the skills directory, use Zenflow to orchestrate and build multiple. I even edit my videos using Zenflow. So that's my stack, and I use Cloud Code sometimes as well. So how does your daily AI stack looks like, Pablo?
Mhm. Um, I am a heavy user of coding agents in terminal. So whether that's our Zencoder CLI, or whether that's some of the other, I'm for some reason I find pleasure in the terminal. Maybe it's because I was never a software developer, and the fact that I just can use it makes me feel so proud of myself that I feel some I feel pleasure out of it. But I have started moving some of my work that has more repetition. I have started moving some of that into Zenflow, because now in Zenflow there is this functionality of automations, in which you can basically create something that will run at a particular time every day. And so for the type of task that is not me triggering it, but rather that I know that it needs to be done every day, that's not something that I'm getting out of the terminal. Like in a terminal, I don't have any tool that does that, and that has moved some of my stuff into to Zenflow. For example, this week I've been working with our HR team at Zencoder to explore how we would automate some of the things that we do. And one of the things that the team showed me is that there was a manual process in which several sources of data were being taken and then put into an sort of like a dashboard in an Excel file. And obviously that's a manual exercise of collecting data points and putting it from one place to the other, and something that quite obviously like an agent can do. And then if you add that extra layer on top of Zenflow for the automation, then that's fantastic, because you don't even need to trigger it. You just know that every day the agent is going to pick up the data and update your dashboard. So again, one more use case in which you can have agents automate some part of your work. And that's why I believe that when I was saying earlier, like 80% of my use of LLMs and coding agents is for software development, and 20% is still for what you would say business use cases. I think that's going to shift. I think that as time goes by, that 20 is probably going to become a 40, and then maybe a 60, and then maybe we would reach actually the opposite.
Impressive. Um, I mean, one last question from me, and then I can take more questions from the audience and even from you as well. But we recently launched schedule automations, and I've seen like crazy use cases that you've built across using that particular feature. So would love if you can just throw some light and let the audience know what that feature is all about, and maybe talk a bit about how they can leverage it to even build out some business use cases if they want to.
Okay. I think I can share my screen, right?
Sure, 100%. Let me know. I can
Let me
bring it
just
up on the
prepare, making sure that I don't have
screen.
anything crazy going on here, and that I can clearly share. No, I'm just kidding. It's just about like if maybe I had something confidential because I was not preparing. But I think I'm ready. Yep. So I'm going to share my screen. It's a button here below. Share screen. Share screen. Entire screen. This guy. So let me know when you can see my screen, please.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, so this is the dashboard, and don't worry, it's all anonymized data and fake data, so that I use precisely to create the video for the purpose. But this is what I was talking about earlier when I mentioned automating some manual work that our own HR team was going through. No, so we were sort of taking data from some Excel files and then putting it in a dashboard. And then this is actually something that a coding agent can do very well. And instead of a dashboard in Excel, you get a dashboard which is it's a web app, no? But the true magic comes when you go and actually create an automation in Zenflow. This is the app. This is Zenflow, and this is my project HR use case. The real magic comes when you go into automations menu, and then you create a new automation. In this case, I click here, create automation, but because I already have it created, I can go and edit it and show you what it looks like. I have chosen for it to run every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. And the task is just called update HR dashboard. And the prompt is as simple as just, I was like ultra lazy here. I just said update. And then I chose the HR use case, and then the workflow. We just launched this new workflow, which is that automated workflow AI adapts to your task. I chose that one. And here's the first run that you can see of the agent just going through the data, the new data that has arrived, and created an updated version of the dashboard. And you can see that it has like an updated date. And so basically it has taken the new data and it has updated all the different tabs, and it's obviously intelligent enough, which is what we were discussing earlier. It's intelligent enough to know where the data is going. And so basically if you take a process that is manual in your company, you identify how it's currently being done manually. So basically, what is the inputs and what are the outputs? And for the most part, the coding agent will be able to do that, because if it's judgment in between, that's what agents do and LLMs do. They do the judgment, and then it's a matter of building a first iteration of it. You can use Zenflow for that, or you can use Zencoder for that. And then if you want it to really be automated, Zenflow is the place to go, because Zenflow is where you can configure those automations so that it happens completely on the background for you, and you just come every day to your updated dashboard.
Interesting. That's a super interesting use case. I also tried my hands in some SEO report generation on the same lines, by the way. And I think schedule automations are super interesting feature that people can leverage to build their business use cases, or any automations, any coding automations as well. On the same lines, yes, if you guys have any questions, you can ask me, Pablo. I can bring it up on screen and we can try answering them. If not, Pablo, feel free to ask any questions or any topic of discussions that you want to crack. Maybe we can
Let's talk about skills. Let's talk about skills, because I'm a bit conflicted, because when I don't understand something 100%, I get a bit nervous, and I feel like I don't understand skills 100%. I feel like I understand it like 90%, and when people say skills versus MCP, I get a bit nervous because I don't really know how to explain the difference. For me, so let's give you my experience. No, like a few months ago, when I wanted to do something with an LLM that was not something that the LLM could do by itself, I probably looked for an MCP. Imagine that I wanted to update I don't know, something in Google Docs. I would search on Google, is there a Google Docs MCP? And then what I would do is I would connect my LLM to that MCP and then ask, hey, can you see the MCP? And then yes, and then it would go and do it. But then we started talking about skills, and skills are simply like markdown files in which the agent gets some instructions on how to do things. Like an MCP is a server, right? Like an MCP is a server that can run either on your computer or can run on the cloud, but it's basically a server that sits in the middle of your LLM and some API, right? That's what an MCP is. I know that the concept is a bit convoluted, but that's what an MCP is. And I think the way that I understood it from the beginning was that it's like a translation layer. So it's basically, it's given the LLM some instructions on how to use the API. So basically, if you want this, do this, but it's text. No, at the end of the day, it's text served as a server. The thing with skills is that what I understand, but I'm open to learning more from you here. What I understand of skills is taking the same idea, but instead of serving it from a server, you just have it on your computer. So basically, you have a text file that says, when you want to edit videos, use this API key and use this API and use this endpoint, blah, 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 and that's a skill. And you save it somewhere that the agent has access to. And then you tell the agent, hey, you have skills in this folder. If you want to go and check them. But the fundamental difference that I see is that an MCP was something that was being served to you, whereas the skill is a file that the agent can check for itself. So my question is, what's going on? Is there something that I'm not understanding? Or is it as simple as what I just described?
Um, okay, so again, it has two aspects to your question. One is, yes, it is simple as what you just explained. And skills again is more of like a combination of MCPs and all the custom instructions. So if you remember, we have custom agents in Zencoder, right? In Zencoder plugin, which again, wherein you can create custom instructions, call the alias, and then maybe link up external MCP tools as well. So similarly, skills work on the same pattern, and skills are more like a persona that people can use to trigger or to, for example, I was using the remotion skill to build my video, to edit my video. I mean, I'm saving a lot of time. So remotion skills again are tailored towards editing, understanding how frames work, and again, it's packed around a React library. So now, whenever I am planning to edit a video, I can just open my remotion MCP, give the instructions, and the agent will take care of the rest. So because again, it has those editing skills with the agent. Yeah.
But explain to me, why do you say that a skill is an MCP plus some instructions? Aren't some skills just instructions, no MCP?
100%, 100%. There are some skills which are not integrated with MCPs, but the secret sauce, the secret formula for like total integration, what I've seen so far, again, I mean, this is just my observation. So I see MCPs and skill going hand in hand. Sorry, MCP and instructions going hand in hand for skills. And again, I mean, it leverages the best out of the both of them and then gives it the best output. So yeah, I mean, that's how I would station and describe the skills part.
So when you use remotion, I have not used it. I just saw the examples and I saw the work that you did, and I'm curious and I want to use it. But just learning from you, when you use remotion, you say you're using a skill, and inside there is an MCP, right? But inside that MCP, if you think, what is it? Is it a local MCP or is it a remote MCP?
So it's a local MCP that gets spun up when you install the skills for remotion, specifically for remotion. And in that, again, you have like multiple options. For one, again, I wanted to break. So I had a raw video. I'll give an example of how it works. So maybe everybody can get an idea of how it looks like. So I recorded a very basic screen recording of Zenflow with my narration, a very rundown, basic video. And I just narrated on what's happening and what I want to build. And I gave that video back to the agent, use the remotion skill, ask the agent to understand it frame by frame, add a narration, add intro, outro, and how I want the intro and outro to look like. So once that was done, the agent then spun up a very detailed video with all the animations, narration, everything pinpoint, beautifully done within 15-20 minutes. So it used the MCP to break down. I mean, remotion. There's a remotion MCP that it used to break down the frames into chunks, understand what each frame does. Then used its FFMEG skills to understand how the narration was. Again, I was speaking in English, so it understood what I was saying, transcribed it, and then added the subtitles, and then changed the narration voice as well, so that I sound.
But the piece that I want to go deeper on is what we're saying here is remotion is a combination of an MCP and some instructions about how to use FFMEG. But inside of that MCP box, if we open that box, you said it was a local server. Yeah. What is it serving to the LLM? Like exactly what is it providing to the LLM? Is it providing, because at the end of the day, what is it providing? It must be providing, in my mind, like some API and instructions on how to use API. No, what else could it be? Could there be inside that MCP?
Yeah, there could be even some custom scripts that can run if you invoke a specific function call. So
Okay. Now I got
yeah,
you.
yeah. So
But
maybe some, yeah,
that's another concept within skills. When I remember when Anthropic presented the concept of skills, or when I say presented, it's like it was already invented. We just didn't have a name. But when they presented skills, they said skills are a combination of markdown files with instructions and some pre-made scripts that the agent can use. And so what you're telling me is that you think that that's what's hidden or been delivered by that MCP. And my reaction to that is okay, but then why do we need the MCP at all? If the agent is able to see the instructions for FFmpeg, the instructions for any API that it's using, the scripts that are pre-made, then the MCP as a server, what for? Like if the agent can find all these files, why do you need a server?
that's a very good question, Pablo. But I think I don't have a very definite answer to that at the moment. But what I feel again is instructions again they are limited to some custom scripts, or maybe let's say in my case of remotion, I let's say if I'm or maybe if I'm using a paid tool, wherein I have to put in my own API key or a secret key so that I can invoke those specific function call of that tool. So I think that's where the MCP would come into play, wherein I can authenticate the MCP with a custom tool with the skills written on top. And
Hmm.
whenever, let's say, let's for example, let's take Snowflake or Power BI, right? So if I have a Power BI skill and if I'm linking it with Power BI MCP, I
Hmm.
can easily invoke, pull the data through MCP, understand what it does. Now skills again, it's like more of a persona, custom instructions. So it doesn't have to juggle around and think a lot because again, instructions are very specific. And yeah,
Hmm. I'm open to learning because I think that sometimes we get confused with the terminology. I'm seeing some people comment that they are still confused by
exactly.
skills. I invite anyone who's watching who knows more than what we're saying to please speak up. Like
100%.
we're here to learn. I'm just trying to be like super clear on the concept. To me, the from all that we said, the one point in which I do see maybe the potential reason why you would want to have a server in the middle is what you said about authentication, basically just to manage it in a more elegant way, or to manage it in a more scalable or at a company level or whatnot. Maybe I can understand why you want to have a server in there. Other than that, I am currently editing some of the videos that we put out as go-to-market team. I am editing them directly with the agent. Like I have literally one markdown file which is called edit video, and it's
Mhm.
like a long list of instructions of how to use Whisper to do the transcript of my voice, how to use FF, I never say get this name right, FFmpeg
I mean,
to
yeah.
actually put the subtitles in the different frames. And it literally that markdown file, it's called edit video. And I just open up my agent in the CLI in this case, for example, and I say take this video and edit it following these instructions from the MD. And to me, that's a skill because it's a set of instructions and it's a set of pre-made scripts so that the agent does not need to reinvent the wheel every time. Uh, and then another thing that I do personally is that I keep improving my skills. So every time that I'm creating these videos, if I catch the agent doing something wrong, for example,
Mhm.
my pronunciation, I'm not English is not my first language, right? So many times I say Zenflow, and the agent or Whisper takes this as send flow, like sending something, no? And then so I have some instructions in that file saying when it says send flow, actually it's send flow with a Z. So things like that, and then I keep improving it. And I think that's an important part of a skill is that it can take feedback, and that it can incorporate
True.
that feedback so that next time that you use it, it gets better. And taking that to the next level, where a skill, the moment that the skill really becomes very powerful, is when you share it with a team. And actually, all the learnings from the team go to the same skill, and the skill starts becoming better for everyone. No?
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with what you just said, Pablo. Skill again is like more of a combination, and it's still a very new topic to discover, and people are still learning more about it. As Glenn mentioned, right? I mean, everybody is a little bit confused of what it does and what it has to give out to the industry in general. It's very new. But yeah, I think the time will tell. A lot of LLMs, a lot of coding tools, in general tools as well, are essentially adapting the skills part. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, anything that you want to ask me and Pablo, we are more than happy to answer. But I think we are almost there for the time. And if no questions, Pablo, any final note and anything you want to tell to the audience before we say goodbye for the day?
That we will be back, and that in the meantime we appreciate questions from them on these topics. That we're here to learn together. There is no wrong question, and so please keep surfacing them. We will try our best to learn together, and to surface topics in a clear and plain and simple way to learn things.
100%. I totally agree. And I don't see any questions popping up right now. So, Pablo, once again, thank you so much for joining in. I think this was a short and beautiful and a healthy conversation that we had. And I would love to continue this scheme that we just followed, right? Maybe we can talk more about a very interesting topic next week. And as you just mentioned, we'll see you again with an interesting topic again next week. Till then, stay tuned. Ask any questions you have in our Discord. Feel free to email us at support@sendgo.ai, and we'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care and bye.
Thank you, Shantanu.
Bye.